Okay, so welcome everyone. We are in week 7. So today we are gonna cover chapter 9. So technically, uh, the majority of the codes that you are gonna learn today, we have been already gone through them. So we'll again, like the previous chapters, we'll go through more details. But the things that are totally new to us is doing the transpose and also using the um, macros in the SAS. So we will see later at the end of this chapter about the macros, especially which how the macro is useful for us when we are doing the coding. And then at the end, we will also review the assignments too, the for the deadline that we have closed. So we will review them as well. Let me just read them. Okay, so we will start with the creating variables that so far again we have been through it before. So we want to know, for example, again, how we can write some expression in the data sets. For example, you are creating some new data sets, and according to that, create that new data set, you would like to, for example, have some new extra column based on the current column that you have. For example, you have the, I don't know, the currency, the dollar sign, the dollar amount of, for example, purchasing item in some column, and then you want to, for example, having some another version of it. I don't know, for example, multiple by two, multiple by three, something like that in an extra column. Those type of expression that we so far learn about it. So during this chapter, some of the codes in the PowerPoint, they are totally black. Those black, we are not going to run them. So we are going to run those that are colorful. Okay, so those I took it from the book. So I don't know whether you had a chance to read the book or not. So I try to make the PowerPoint informative as much as possible. I mean, if you go through the PowerPoint technically, you can say that you have been through all the materials for each chapter, but especially if you are aiming for that SAS certification, you need to make sure that definitely go through the book. So, but again, for this course, for the assignments, for whatever I'm teaching you, the PowerPoint itself, it's enough. But for sure, always is good to go through the book and learn more. So regarding the type of operators that we can use in SAS. So as we can see here, we have all of these signers. So negative prefix for example, doing some uh, subtraction, or double asterisk is going to be like an exponential one. Asterisk is for multiplication. Slash is for division, plus for addition. And also for those like equal to, not equal to, we have these sign as let me select out. So equal or EQ, uh, this sign equal or not EQ, NE, which is technically equal to not, I mean, is not equal to, greater than, less than, and greater than, less than, greater than equal, sorry, greater than or equal or less than equal. The one that we mentioned, if you want to have the greater than equal, you need to have first put the greater than, then equal. Again, this is all the things that we discussed so far. So like this example, the first couple of slides, we are just going to go through the examples in the PowerPoints, and then we will go through the uh, coding. So this one, any of you just volunteer for reading this one to me and tell me what's going to be the output of this one? Sorry, loud. Yeah. Here, whoever you want to do it, do it. Sorry? Yeah, just read this couple of lines for me. Okay. Stress test.
Yeah, it's an observation. So you want the time interval multiply 60, and then you add time.
The times 6. So technically what we are doing, we are creating a new column. So we are writing some expression. The expression is the time mean, which is right now the column here in the table, times 60 in the parentheses plus the times 6. So we can say 12 times 60 plus 38 is going to be 758. Okay, so that's the one example. So also, we can add some specific uh, column again to the data sets just for the date. So what do you understand from this code? I still can't hear you well because of the mask. Yes. So technically, we are adding two columns. One column is total time, which like the previous one. We are adding one new column, test date. Okay. So the new column is January 2015 first. So what do you think about this one? What is going to be look like in the output when you're having this one? It is totally no, it's normal that you don't know it. I'm just trying to see if you can guess. Hmm. I mean, where is gonna be? Okay, that column, you mean for the all cells or just, for example, cell one? It's gonna add some exact fixed date, some constant date to the whole table. Okay, so we are going to have exactly January 1st, 2015. The point is, the only way to have it as like a constant date, we need to put it in a quotation, and then you need to put D at the end of it. So when we put D at the end of it, so technically it will consider this one as a constant date, and it's gonna be in the new column, and it's gonna be available for all rows in the data sets. Okay, so again, after class, you might not remember what is this D. So first, the whole PowerPoints, again, it's totally informative, give you exactly information, but for sure, you know that you can also watch the recorded video as well. So this one, again, could be different type of format. It could be, I don't know, day, month, year, or day. Again, depends on different format. We'll talk about these formats later in details, but yeah, it could be anything. And the point is, we need to make sure that, again, this is on the quotation mark. So far, again, we have been through some subset. So by subsetting of the data, which means we are creating some a specific category of the original database. Okay. For example, we had it, for example, I don't know, if the horsepower of the car is above 900, above 500, so then the new file that I'm generating, I want to have it based on that specific column, which is the horsepower. So far we have been through the, for example, if something is less than uh, this one, delete it or keep it. Whatever we are doing right now, just again try to go through the some things that we have been so far. So we also talk about the drop whenever you want to, for example, drop some variables from the file that we are creating. We talked about the keep, we talked about the drop, and then we talked about those uh, again type of creating variables like this one, total time equal to time mean times 60 plus time sec. Retain, we haven't talked about it, we'll talk about it today. What does it mean by retain? But you remember those accumulative variable 2 weeks ago, right? The accumulative variable. Who remember it? What was the accumulative variable? I showed you the example on this whiteboard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for example, we have, I don't know, the first item 70, whatever value for the whatever column, it doesn't matter. The second one is 80. So technically we are creating some accumulative one in the new column. So the first one is gonna be 70, but the second one is gonna be 70 plus 80, 150. 150 plus this third one, the new amount. So that's the accumulative variable. This retaining is for that one. We will see in the example what does it mean by returning. And then we will talk about the length of the characters as well. So again, accumulated accumulating totals, like the example we have here. So right now in this one, let's go through it together. So here we are creating a new data sets, right? The new data set name is a stress test. We are saving it in work library. So what is the source for it? Tests from the search library, okay? The new variable that we are creating total time with this specific formula, okay? Now we are creating some accumulative variable, which is sum sec plus total time. So technically, we can see that the first one is 0 for the sum sec, and then 758 plus 673 1363 plus 582 2006 36. So that's the way that we can have the sum sec or new accumulative variables. Again, nothing new so far. We so far discussed about all of this. So as we see here, this one starts from 0, right? But when we have retained, for example, 2000s for that sum sec, so technically we start from 2000. To retain is for that purpose. So in the example, here we can say we are creating a stress dataset again in the work library from the test dataset. Total time is the new variable to it. And then we would say, okay, we are creating sumsec as an accumulative variable, but before that, I am defining, hey, retain sumsec 5400. So technically, for the first one, instead of 0 this time, we have 5400 plus 758. It's going to be 6158 plus 605, 6763. So just the extra condition in order to have some uh, initial value instead of 0. So I know you might be able to get bored, but we have to just review all of these again to just refresh our mind for it. And then we go to the coding again, same as before, it's gonna be okay. So let's talk about the some variable length, the number of characters. For example, the word short has short, has 5 characters, okay? Long has 4 characters. The point is, SAS, there is a rule for itself. What is the rule? When it goes through the column, whatever column, okay? So when you're creating some variable, it goes through the first one. If the first one is 5 characters, 4 characters, 3 characters, doesn't matter. It's gonna assume the rest is gonna be the same number of characters. So here, for example, norm, short, and long is the words that we have. But since the norm has 4 characters, so it's assumed that okay, the next one is also gonna be a 4 character. That's why we have shor. We don't have t at the end. And long is the same. But if we had, for example, short at the first, we didn't have issue because the next one is gonna be norm, which is 4 character, but the maximum is 5 character. So in that case, it is easy. We can just have just one specific code for it, which we call it as a length statement. So in length statement, we will define how many character it's gonna be. So you will better understanding when you see it in the example. So let's go through this code. This is the same code. We are just expanding it. Okay. So we are creating stress in the work library out of the stress from the cert library. We are creating a new variable, total time. We are creating some accumulative variable, which is the sum sec. But the point is we are retaining some initial value for it, which is the 4,000, 5,400. So far the same. And then let's ignore this line, okay? We are creating some new column as well, which is test length. We will say if the total time that we created is above 800, then test length, which is going to be a new variable, should be long. Else is less than 750. Uh, uh, I mean, sorry, less than 800, but greater than 750. So then it's going to be normal. Else, if the total time is less than 750, then the test length is short. Okay. So right now, according to the appearance of this one, we could have an issue. That's why here we are just defining, hey, this test length has 6 character. Easy, just $6. In order to be more safe, you can make it 10. You can make it 20 to just have some extra space for it, okay? But technically, just by adding this line, we are just telling SAS the test length for this one is 6 character. So when we go through the running the code, it's gonna be uh, more interesting for you. So subsetting, again, so far we talked about it. Again, with the if statement, we can have some specific category of the data according to some condition. Mm, let me go through this one. So we are creating a stress data set in this one in the work library from the tests data set in the cert library if the tolerance is D. But the point is it should be first in the quotation because this is text and it should be according to the text, it should be all capital D. Okay. So if the tolerance, which is the already one column in the data set, if that one is D, so now create the total time for me according to this new formula and then run it. And then when we print it, we will have the tolerance D and the total time for the rest. Okay. So again, that's the same condition that we have for the categorization. So based on the uh, range of that total time, we are categorizing in 3 different level. So another example, we are creating a stress data set out of test data set. The total time is this one. Retain SumSec 5,400. SumSec plus total time is the accumulative variable. Then we are saying that if the total time this time is greater than 800, then the test length would be long. And then we run it. So technically, SACs execute the assignment exactly when the condition is above 800 is true. Okay. And if the condition is false, for sure, this value is missing. So if we have the numeric is gonna be dot. If we have the character, is gonna be blank. So just the last part of this type of codes. So the same we have had so far based on the and or function. Again, what we are doing right now is just reviewing. We have already been through all of this. So right now in this example, we can say that if the status equal to OK and the type is 3, what's gonna happen? Then it's gonna add 1 to the count column, okay? Or if age, what is this one? No, not, not equal to age check or time not equal to 3 and error is 1. So technically we have three conditions, but one is in the parentheses. So who has the highest priority in this one? The one in the parentheses. So we have and then or, but when we have parentheses, whatever inside the parentheses has the highest priority. And error is 1, then the test is gonna be 1. Or for example, using the not operator. If not log hours less than 700, 7,500, then schedule is quarterly. Or if region not in this northeast or southeast, then bonus is gonna be 200. The same for the or as well, and the same for the character value as well. So if the status is okay and type 3, then count +1. Or if the status is S or count is E, then control should be stopped. That's the type of condition that so far we have had. But let's go through the SAS. So make sure to run your library. You create your library. So for me, it's gonna be just a Hossein library based on the SAS folder I have. And make sure to have these claims dataset downloaded from the D2L and have it in the folder. Let me know when you all have this one. So when you open this one, we have a data set. We have, for example, one column date of service, the charge, the allowed money, the copay, deductible, uh, the emergency, no, yes, and the gender as well. So you can see in the emergency column, MR column, we have some no with the lower letter, we have some no with the capital letter, yes, in a different format, okay? So probably that would be issue for us. As I mentioned, one of the main tasks of these data analytics people always is cleaning the data sets. So the cleaning data sets has takes a lot of efforts. So right now, this one, if we are supposed to work with it, we have to make sure that all the data in data set is consistent. Okay, so we will work on it. But at this point, let's see what's in the data set. So you all have it on your side? Yes, yes. Just they're creating simple library and put it in there. Okay, now let's go through the first one. What we are doing here. What we are doing here, guys. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So technically, we are creating some new subsets according to this specific condition, which when the emergency is equal to no or and. So this or is right or and is right. So should we have or here or and here? So let's go back to the and condition, A and B, which means the result should be A and B together. Imagine always that shoes example, the type of shoes. The type of shoes at the same time, can we have the boots and a sneaker at the same time for one shoes? Can we? No, at the same time, for one shoe. Is at the end of the day, is the sandal or it's the boots or it's sneakers? You cannot have both at the same time for that specific one. So if you put and on it, it doesn't work. But in this one, or technically, which means regardless of these two, we want to have if we see no and if we see uh, and at the same time. So when we create this one, just make sure to all should be and now I created a new data set. So right now we have all no and n at the same time in this one. Or we can write it this way as well. So let me go through it. So this one, we already learned about that. They're using the in function, right? So exactly we are saying data claim 2 from the claims data sets if the emergency are in these two category, no or n. Okay, so if I run it, we will have again the same result just with this one. So one of the chapter to assign it's exactly just doing something like that. You have the online store, you have a store that they have the online and also the local sale. So you need to just categorize between these two. Now let's go through the transpose. So I assume that you all already work with the Excel, right? So do you know what is transposing in Excel? What does it mean by transpose? So technically, by transpose, what you are doing it, the point is, unfortunately, I forgot my microphone. And if I go that way, we are gonna lose my voice, but it's okay. So technically, in the transpose, in general, if we have column for ABC, X, Y, Z, so what we are gonna do, we are going to have A, B, C, X, Y. Okay, we are just changing the colors and the rows. Okay, but again, depends on a different situation. The way that you are working could be useful. Sometimes it also be very meaningless. So again, depends on the action that you are doing. You might need to do it. But at this point, right now, we are going to learn how we can use transpose in SAS. And again, when you're doing transpose, you need to check multiple things because there are some precondition for it and you need to know about it. So for sure, for the function for this one, like the other function, proc import, proc frag, proc means, this one is also proc transpose is the function for it. So we will see in the example very well, but the structure, technically, we are using some input data for the proc transpose. Then we will have some output. So technically by proc transpose, we are creating the new data sets. This is important. And then the type of variable that you would like to have it in that transpose and some bias statement and var variable. Do you remember 2 weeks ago I mentioned that whenever we are going to use the bias statement, what should we do in advance first? Sorting of it. That's good. Thank you. Proc sort. Yeah. Proc sort is the one that we always make sure to have it. So some condition is here for the proc sort. Okay. So one of them when in default, when we use proc sort, SAS automatically goes through the columns that the columns are numeric and just do the transpose according to those numerics. Okay, so just goes through the numeric columns. We will see in the example. But if you want to also have some character column, those string column, those have the, for example, name column that have a text on it. If you want to also have those in the transpose action, you need to mention them in the var statement. But the point is, the result, regardless of the number or not number, all of the column will be character. One more time. When we are doing proc transpose by SAS, the default always goes through the numeric variable. But when we want to have some character variable, then the outcome, we have to include it in the var statement. The outcome, it's gonna transpose those numeric plus the characters, but all of them will be character. For example, if even though the age is 2 or 22, but that 2 or 22 in the SAS is not numeric anymore, it's a character. We will see in the example and we will check it. So, like this example. So here we have just some part of the data sets. The year 1997, 98, 99. And each one has 12 months, January, February, March. So that's the full data set. So when we are transposing this one, all of them are right now numbers. They are all numeric. Okay. We are going to have 12 1997 because we have 12 months and we have the related numbers for it. Then we will have 12 1998 with the 12-month number. So right now, 12, the first one, 1997 month January is 1922. So we can see that 1997 January is 1922. So when we run the example, it's gonna make more sense for you. But this example. So right now, this is the data again. 1997, 1998, 1999, and all the month is here. So when I again do the transpose, we will have this one. But the point is, when we run this one, this is the structure, proc transpose. The input data set is gonna be ctarget from the SAS user, and we are gonna save it in the ctarget2 in the work library, as a ctarget2 in the work library. And when we run it, we will see the column name is gonna be a little not okay. So for the first one, we have underline name, underline, that's the default format. And for the rest, we will have call1, call2, call3 to the rest, whatever. So we need to fix them. That's one of the issue that you always have when you're doing the transpose. You might say, why we need to do transpose? Again, we are here to just learn the transpose. Based on the job that you will have, it could be possible. In some example, you will see right after this couple of slides. So right now, that name, which is the default name for the variable, we can just easily fix it with this one. So the first two line similar to the what we had so far. Proc transport data SAS users ctargets. We are creating ctarget2, but this is the formula. You need to memorize it. Name equal to month. So technically, this one is gonna change this, okay? And the prefix ctargets. So technically, it's gonna add month, ctarget1, ctarget2, ctarget3. That's a one way. Also, you can just easily use the label function like the one that we learned so far, adding labels for each column, like the one that we had so far. We will see. And also, we might need to have it by year. Okay, so we need to, for example, having better version by year. Okay, so in that case, when I sort it by year, now you can see the outcome at the end is gonna be based on the 1997, the month, and all the related value. So let's go through this example. And for this one, you don't need to have the data. So because we are taking something from the SAS help library. So let's go to the SAS help library, and the class. What is the name? The class, yes. Okay, so this is the class. Name, sex, age, height, weight. So how many numeric variables are here? How many numeric variables are here? N- Yeah, yes. So you mean this directory? Okay, go to the SAS help and scroll down until you find the class datasets and double click on it and no. Okay, now how many of these variables are numeric? Three, age, height, weight. And name and sex are those characters. So by default, when I do the transpose on this one, which one of these gonna be in the output? Those three, the age, height, weight. Because as I mentioned, when you're doing the transpose, the default, the default version is always numeric variable, unless you said, okay, in the var library, I want to have name as well. And then when you do the transpose, in the outcome, the age is not numeric variable anymore. It's gonna be character variable. Okay, we will see. Let's close this one. So let's create a class 2 just by general proc transpose. And we are doing the proc transpose. The structure is simple, huh? Data is gonna be the input. Out is the one that we are creating, run, and let's also do the proc print as well. So right now we can see in the output, we will just have age, height, weight. And we have for sure some issue with the names, name, call one, calls. Let me show you something. If you right now go to your library, the one that you created, mine is Hossein, yours is whatever. If I click on the class 2, so we can see here the database version of the data sets that we have. So if I click on it, it says numeric, right? So in a, for example, normal one, this claim one. For, do we have any other number? Or these are just, okay, for example, if I click on this one, we will have character, okay? Also, we can change the name and label here as well. But let's go back. So right now we see the class 2 that we just use the normal proc transpose. So we can see that this one considered as a numeric. But let's go back and say, okay, I also want to have variable sex as well in the transpose. So right now, in this case, I would say proc transpose again from the class datasets in the SAS help, which the outcome is going to be class 3 in my library name, Hossein, your library, whatever. And the variable sex. So which means I'm saying, hey, keep the sex column as well for me. And then run the proc print. So right now in this one, I am just keeping sex column. Okay. So right now we have observation, whatever, we just have sex column, male, female, and the rest. So technically, when we are using var statement, we are limiting ourselves to some specific variable, nothing new. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. When we use the variable statement, var statement, we are just telling SAS, hey, in the new data sets, just have this, right? Confirm me, right? Nothing new, just var same. So this one, the class 4. Now I am saying that, hey, I want to have product transpose, but this time keep age, height, weight, and sex for me. So technically, we are keeping 3 numeric variable plus 1 character. What we expect in the outcome, all of the variable will be character. So let me just run it. We are creating class 5. So first we have this age, height, weight, sex. So 14, 13, whatever. Still we have issue with the column name. Okay. And I think we went one. Yeah, we went one ahead. So we were supposed to first run this one. So again, the same. Just we have the name as a name of the first column, which we don't like it. Call one, call two, we don't like them. So let me go back to this one. So right now, if I double click on class 4, I will go here. So if you remember, right now, whatever of these, all of them is gonna be character. Even it is number, but it shows as a character. Now I don't like the name. Let's fix it. So we mentioned in order to fix it, we can just easily add one line, which was name equal to whatever. So right now, in this one, product transpose data again from the class data sets in SAS help, class 5. Now the name is health. We are just naming it as a health, okay? And the variable is still the same. So when I run it, so now we can see the first column is fixed, right? So do you have any suggestion how we can fix these rest of the columns before going to the next slide? Do you have any suggestion? Do you remember that? Yes. Yeah, we are doing the transpose, but in this transpose, how we can fix this column name? Do you remember we had some ID in some of we said, okay, the ID is, for example, this column. We assign the ID, for example, to the observation number or name or whatever in previous sections. So the same we can use here. So let me go through. We uh, just so this variable, this where is it? Let me print again. This one, we changed the name of the name to the health, it is name. But when we go to this one to class 5, still here, the label is name of the former variable in the dataset version. In the printed version that we are seeing, it shows health, okay? So in that case, we know how to fix it. We learned label before, and we would say, okay, label health to this health with all capital letter, for example. So technically this one will fix that issue as well. So let me just fix this one. No, this one has the health. But in order to fix that column name, it is easy. We can just add one column to it, ID, and put it as a name. Where this name comes from, we had this name here. Okay, we are just saying because what this one has done for us, again, swap the x axis with the y-axis, right? So here, alphabet technically should be here, but it's showing us column one. Alice should be here, but it shows as column two. So when we say, okay, for the ID, just use the name. So in that case, this will be the code. Again, we are creating a class 6 out of the data sets that we have. Name is health, variable is age, blah, blah. ID is name, and then run. So right now, this is the new one that right now we have. So for example, Alfred age is 14, and in the original data, we had that Alfred age is 14, height is 69, weight is 112, 15. So Alfred age 14, height 69, weight 112, and 6M. So that's the way that we can just make this outcome better. And to me, if I want to make it better, I will also remove this observation as well. So for removing this observation, what should we do? We know it. The observation number. What was the syntax for it? No obs. Anyone said no obs? Yes. So no obs, it could be the good one to where we are. Yeah, it could be a good one to remove the observation as well in that one. So this one, we are just adding one extra by condition, which we are sorting it by names. So the point is we don't use the proc sort because in the original data sets, it was already sorted by name. So we don't need to use it. Otherwise, we have to use the proc sort. So right now for this one, again, because it was sorted by Alfred, now we have name, health, and the column one. So we can just easily fix this one and also add some title as a global option and label the health, label the column one health stats, and also removing the all the observation name. So this is the table that I would like to see. Prague transport results, name, health stats, Alfred, age 14, So that's all related to the Alfreds because we sorted by name in this case. Any questions so far? All good? Mm-hmm. Good. Let's have a 5 minutes break and we'll come back. Talk about the macro variables. So macro is a very big deal in SAS especially. So in very short form, we can define something before writing the full code, okay? And then during the code, whenever we want to use that specific thing, we will call it. We call it as a macro. It could be a variable. For example, I would say variable x, amount for variable x is 5. So right now during the code, whenever I call variable x, which means I want to use 5. Okay, so that's the most simple example. But in the uh, bigger scale, it could be a formula. It could be a totally separate uh, coding that you are just doing there, and always you need to have the outcome of that one. So I myself, for example, we had a course, experimental design course at the last term of the PhD, that we worked on the experimental design project, and we worked with SAS. And that the instructor, Dr. Pavur, he wrote a couple of pages macro for us to run the some mediation testing with it. And it worked very well. If we were supposed to do that mediation test by ourselves each time, that would be crazy. But he created, and then we just call the function. So let's say if you had a previous other experience in coding, for example, in Python, in R, we sometimes create some function and we call them. Okay, so that's similar to that one. But again, simple example. If you want to remember always what is macro, x is 5 whenever I call x, which means I need to have the 5 in the model. But the way that we are creating it, we created with this specific line, percent let. So whenever we say percent let, so technically we are creating a macro. And whenever we want to call it, we have to use this ampersand or and sign in the text. Okay? So right now, before me going through the code, the reason I always ask you to read the code, I just wanted you to just think about the code. In that case, you will definitely have better understanding. So through the code and tell me what you understand from it. So just a simple uh, hint for the first time again. Percent let, which means we are creating a macro. And CYL is the cylinder in the call. Okay, so go ahead.
So the macro will be all of the cards that have 5 cylinders.
The macro is not going to be all the cards that have the cylinder. The macro will be the cylinder count 5. That's it. And the rest. Read it. Not a big deal things. You are just having simply Prague print, right? So the issue is you are shy. Otherwise, you all know.
Yeah.
Let's read one line by line. So the first line, what's going to do? We are printing the cars data sets out of the SAS help library. So technically, we are doing some categorization. We are doing some subsets where the cylinders. Let's before having this one, let's go to the SAS and go to the SAS help. Open cars. So what are the column? Make, model, type, origin, MSRP, cylinders. So cylinders is here and the rest. Okay. Now, again, where cylinders equal to what cylinder counts? This and or ampersand. Okay. So it means what I'm doing right now, I am calling this CYL underline count, this cylinder count. So I am calling it. Okay. So technically, instead of typing 5 here, I would put cylinder count. That would be 5. So this is a very, very simple example. Otherwise, we had to do the if. If the cylinder is, for example, 5, then the output is. But this one, again, makes our job is a little easier. Yeah, that's the macro. The macro that we just wrote for this one. Okay? This macro could be a formula, could be a huge formula. Okay? So instead of writing it through the rest of the codes, we just calling it. This is just for make the job easier, making the job easier. So then the rest, we are keeping which variables, type, make, model, cylinders, MSRP, and then run. And then we are running the proc frac. Proc frac, we know that it's going to give us some extra statistical information, doesn't matter. Where, again, the cylinders is ampersand cylinder count. The main point is, if I want to run this code for 6 cylinders, 4 cylinders, whatever, I can just easily, instead of changing multiple times, I can just easily come here and change here and run the whole code just with one small change. You see, that's the best way to running all of this. So let's go through the code. So right now, let me also have this. How can I remove the title? Hmm. Okay. So again, the macro that we designed is cylinder count is 5, and then the rest. So right now, let me just run it. Before we go to proc first, let's just run this one. So right now we can see 5. So simple. If I go back and make this one 4 and just run it again, we will have all 4. Okay. Again, that macro writing depends on the job you are doing, depends on the task you are depends on the thing that you think, okay, right now I need some macros. That's a for sure like advanced skill that you will definitely have at the time that you are working with codes. Okay. Let me uh, pause and tell you something. Mm, as long as I'm more in this position as a director of the program and going through different events, talking with different people, uh, one of the, I would say, amazing things that people like about our program, that we in this program are exposing you to the different type of analytical tools, different type of programming language. You might at the end of this master, when you get a job, you might never work with the SAS. It is possible. But the main point is you are learning the skill of coding. You are learning the skill of thinking logically regarding the code. When you have this skill, it doesn't matter. It is Python, it is R, it matters. The code is different. But the time for you to learn Python or others, when you have that type of uh, kinds of a skill for thinking, it would be much, much less than the normal people that they're gonna learn it from scratch. Okay, so you will start with SAS. Next semester, you will have Python. You will have SQL. How many of you have worked with SQL? None of you. So you know what is SQL. So you will learn the database in healthcare, how you can create a database. And then we just design a specific course for the first time in the HMI, AI in healthcare. And you will have it in your the last summer before graduation. Okay, so that's the type of elective course that again you can have it. I would definitely recommend you have it. So that's the thing. So if the reason I'm saying that, if sometimes you might feel a little, oh my God, I'm confused, I am a little bored, I am exhausted with this coding, it is normal. It is absolutely normal, but again, hang in there. At the end of the semester, you will have definitely an understanding. Just right now, just each of you individually, just compare yourself with the before, I mean, in comparison with the last 7 weeks that you came to this class and you had no idea about this. Now you are learning. A learning curve is always the first part is the hardest part, and it's gonna get better. Okay? So just wanted to let you know, hang in there, and definitely the result is going to be amazing for all of you. So let's also run this product break as well. Let's see what type of information we can have. So right now we are seeing that, okay, that based on the type, we in the code we see that we will talk about the product break later in details. Okay, that's the way that the course is done. I will always give you something and then we will go back and read them, work on them more. So here, the tables, we are dividing it based, and we are categorizing based on the type. So we can see the type of hybrid SUV, all the number of available data sets, percent, and just again, maybe car maybe doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense for you. If it would be like some healthcare data, maybe it makes more sense for you. I don't know the type of blood type in your data specific shift that you are working for. I don't know some specific other type of element that you need to know for your patients. So just imagine these are those. Just you see how it's just this specific table could be informative for you when you are running your data. And what else is giving us? Mm, oh, this is the full, yeah, that's the table that it gives us. Let's go to the next one. So this one, what this table, this code for those do for us? So by first line, we are creating a macro. The macro is car type equal to wagon. And we are printing the cars from the SAS file, where the type is quotation. So just pay attention to this one. The previous one, we didn't have quotation because we were calling numeric variable. That was 5. So the 5, we don't use quotation. But for this one, we should use quotation and the type make model. So let's run it. So right now we can see we will just have the wagon type. And for example, you want to see the sedan part. Just you only need to go through the code, change this one to sedan, and just run it very quick. So we'll have all the sedan type. Okay. And Let's also run the proc mean. Proc mean give us more statistical result for the some type of numeric variables. So again, proc means where the type is at sign ampersand card type. The card type, we defined it as a sedan. So if I run it again, we will have, okay, the MSRP, the MPG highway, the numbers, the mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum, all the things that it's showing you. Okay, any questions so far? So what we learned today, nothing that much new. We uh, went through the type of categorization, those subcategory, if we talked about those type of accumulative variable, but we talked about the something that was new was retain this initial value and then do the rest. And then we talked about transpose. We learned three rules for the transpose. The first rule, when you are doing what is the transpose, it's gonna just sweep or swap the x-axis and y-axis. So that's one of the things that it's doing. When we are just doing the proc transpose, by default, just do it just for the numeric variables. Okay. But when you want to have some also characters, you need to consider, you need to mention them in the var statements. And when you are having the characters, the outcome, regardless of the whatever it was before, numeric or character, they're all gonna be character. Okay. And then we talked about the macro, simple, just you are defining something in advance. And then in the rest of the code, whenever you need it, you will just call it. How you define it with the ampersand, with the percent, let whatever formula do you want to have, how you can call it with the ampersand sign and just the name of that specific variable. Okay. So any question? Good. So let's go through the homework too. But if we don't need this Windows, let me. So you also have access to the session codes in the D12, am I right? Yeah, it was there. Okay, nice. So so today morning, there was a hackathon in Georgia Tech that the tag event uh, was partnered with them, and we went there just in order to see what's happening there in order for our hackathon. And the point is, when we went there, they were expecting more students, but the number of group at the end, we had three group. And the interesting part, they asked me to be one of the group, and that was fun. So we ended up with this one. So technically, this is the this is the group. Yeah. So these are our very young kids from the bachelor. Oh, this person, he was master, but this was bachelor. One of the computer science, the other one was electric, and the other one was like some uh, health related degree. I don't remember what was the degree again. And we worked on this one.
Did you get to consider cancer?
I told them, but probably they're gonna be here for the hackathon. Uh, again, that one was so this is the one. Let me. So technically, it was for creating some medical product for kids. To just let them to deal with this type of medical procedure. So at the end, I helped them with the base websites. So I gave them the base website and they also added some more feature to it. And just you can guess, we did it with the chat GPT. But the point is, even that one with the chat GPT took almost 1 hour and a half because you had to always just do multiple promptings to have the better result. And this is the one that I created for them. And they added just one. So that's the very weird structure of the body. Technically, this is brain should be here, but we couldn't finally put it here. So when you click on it, it gives you information. So then, and whenever you run it, it gives you some badge. For example, this is just the lungs. So I don't know what is this. Intestines. What is intestines? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And the kidneys, and then uh, in the next version next year you can come back. We are gonna have some game on it, and then they added this cool feature of the chatting. So it's like a chatting. Hi, I feel depressed. Thank you for sharing. I really enjoy. So again, this is just the very template example that we said. So if you wanna for sure extend it, you can definitely create some LLM based conversation here. And then we had some quiz. So let's do quiz. What organs help digest food with acids? Great, great. What organs help clean and manage energy? Liver, brain, lungs. Liver? To me is liver, yeah. Which organs absorb most nutrition? Intestines? Nice. Which organs pumps blood around your body? You're all genius. Which organs filter your blood? Yeah. So yeah, that's we did, and the interesting part, they came, and I really like it. They came finally with this presentation as well. So they created all of these with the AI, all of these graphs. Yeah, it was cool. I mean, they created everything with it. Yeah. But for us, we are probably also going to have some deliverable outcomes such as coding stuff and probably some uh, real case situation that, for example, if you want to go through it and just propose some solution, some strategy solution, and just pitch it. So far, a couple of judges already confirmed to be there. One of them is Dr. Sean Little. I don't know whether you know her. So she's the associate vice chancellor of the whole USG system. Yeah, she's a very big name in our university system. So she's the one. So she's gonna be one of the judges panel. We will have some from one of the AI startup company for the healthcare. So cool, fun, cool people will be there, and also we will have one from Piedmont. We will have one from sorry, Emory. We will have one from Bellstar. and also one confirmed so far from the Piedmont as well. So yeah, just make sure to attend. Even if you couldn't make it to have a final project, the experience would be great. So it's gonna be Thursday and Friday in the next March next year. Let's go through the homework too. Let me change the setting. This one like it's a little. mm, That's this one to the. Let me. Yeah, it's better right now. Okay, good. So mm, mm, and where is the Zoom? It's sharing this screen. Okay, nice. Good. So let's go. So as we see here, the data sets in this one is the sold book contain information from the sales book of the bookstore. So we will have multiple attribute, multiple variable, multiple column on it. The section, the book title, author, publisher, cost, list price, sale price, date, and pay type. And the pay type is 0 as a cash, 1 as a debit, 2 as a Visa, 3 as a MasterCard. And if the item was sold in the store, yes. And if it's online, no. So a store type, if it's yes, which means it's sold in store. And if it's no, it means in online. And if it's mail, the price to ship the item if sold online. So that's the main column aspect. So make sure to download it, put it in the related folder that you have on your desktop or whatever, and just definitely make sure to to have the data sets in your library as well. So I think I just closed the SAS here. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So the first one, format the dollar values appropriately. So there are two decimal places and dollar sign. Okay. So for this one, all I need you to go through whatever uh, column, which is the dollar, is the like a money. So like I don't know, like a cost, like a list price, sale price, those things that technically they are dollar. I need to just go there and change the format according to that specific format that you want to have the dollar sign. Okay, what happened? Yeah, we were at the question 3. Probably I just stopped the recording as well. So the question 3. Let me see what is sharing again one more time. Yes. Calculate the new variables called profit and the difference between the sale price and the cost. So technically, we are having new expression, new formula. Profit is the new column, and the profit, which means sale minus cost. Okay. So technically, again, another data set. Again, another data set. This part, for example, hosting library, the file name is stored, I think, whatever. The new one is gonna be again import library or hosting whatever library. So one, okay. And now we are just creating a new library. Equal to the cost from this price or sale price, something like yes, oh yes. Sale price minus cost. And also, if you want to run the accumulated, you can also just have accumulated profit plus, right? So far, all the first 3 questions, they were all the data sets type of question. The first one, the dollar sign, the second one, a date format, and this one. And I would definitely go and format the profit with the dollar sign as well. So again, just the same one. You can just easily add the format profit dollar 6.2. Question 4, print the first 10 observation of the data sets, include the title bookshop, remove the observation numbers from the report and label cost as a cost of book. Super easy, right? Removing the observation, no obs, label column, having the label and label this specific cost as a cost of food. And we had this, what we name it, as a first obs equal to 1 OBS observation 10. So technically you are printing observation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. We this one I think we had it in a week 2 or 3. Yeah. And remove the title, print observation 11 to 20, sum the cost variable in the report, then break this total sum up by a store. So this one also is the one that might be a little challenging. The point is, if you open the database on your side, I unfortunately close my windows, you will see for the, here we mentioned that if the item were sold in a store, yes, no online. But the point is we have capital letter yes, we have Y, we have capital, we have a yes, with the rest is lower letter, all capital. So you need to go through the database and put all them in one category. So for example, when the yes quotation with the all lower letter, all capital, starting capital Y, and also lower letter of Y, capital letter of Y. Having all, we can say a store type is 1. If the rest is no N, lower N, capital N, it could be 0. So you need to categorize it and then creating a new data set. So technically, I would say the number 5 is the most challenging one because you need to go through those when, or maybe you would like to go with the if. At the end of the day, it's your choice. Okay. The things that matters, you need to break down the total sum by a store type. You should have at the end some solid categorization based on the online and based on the in-store. Okay. And create the accumulator variable determines the total amount of store spent on the inventory. Super easy. Just again the same process, just total spend plus cost could technically create a new variable name for it. And another one, again, total amount, exactly the same. The variable store is not a standard. Create a new variable called the store type. If contains a 1, if the item was sold in a store, contain 0. So technically, question 5 and 8, they are almost covering each other. They're almost the same. Here, it's ask you something else plus having this categorization based on the store. Here, it's just asking you to create a new column, store type. So you can just easily merge these two and answer it in one set. And the last question 9, another data set contains information all of the internet orders. Do this in one step and calculate the total amount paid of each boot as the sale price. So again, this is possible that you want to use those AI tools to ask these questions. Again, to me, it doesn't matter. I told you. Probably you already know me after 7 weeks. The things that matter, you understand the code. Even if you are trying to ask these AI tools, just don't generate and put it here. Understand it. Try to get the logic. That's the only things that matter. For after 7 weeks, I'm telling you, you are all gonna get A in this course. So don't care about the grade. The only thing that you need to care to is get the logic, understand what does it mean when you are saying data sets, if, when, by, sort, whatever. What are these crazy things? So, that's not a big deal. And create a new data sets with the last records from the total data sets only. So technically from the question 8 to the rest, they are kinds of continuous questions. So whenever you create some for the second one, you can just continue to work on the previous. And just for example, question 11, just use the proc uh, frac to determine the highest volume days in the month of September. So when you just create that profit table, you can just sort it, table it based on the date using proc frac and based on the date. And at the end of the day, the last one, creating two data sets, call one a store and the other online. Since you already created that store type in the question 5 and 8, so the last one is super easy. If the store type is 1, then give me this output of the, for example, a store, online store format. If the if the store type is 0, then out this in a store uh, version to me, not the online. 1 is online, 2, 0 is the, sorry, 1 is the in store, 2 is online. 1 is the 0, oh shoot. 1 is the, what is it? The in store, 0 is online. Again, based on the whatever we have here. It was in question 8, yes. A store type 1 and online, uh, online is 0. Mhm. For sure, it's a little bit more challenging than the homework one, but all of them, we covered it multiple times every session. So for sure, it's not gonna be a big deal. Any question? All good? Mm-hmm. So what's the schedule for our class? Let me stop recording.